In football, there are nights that decide trophies, and there are nights that decide history. On the 21st of May 2003, Seville didn't feel like Spain. It felt like Glasgow had been lifted from the Clyde and dropped under the Andalusian sun. As one local newspaper would later write, Seville woke up green and white. UEFA organised a final. Celtic organised an invasion. 350 charter flights landed in southern Spain. Supporters poured through the airport. Songs echoed before bags were even collected. Celtic fans outnumbered Porto supporters by at least 2-1. The city watched on with a mixture of amusement and astonishment. It was billed as a Fiesta de fútbol, and it lived up to the name. Seville is a city famed for religious processions. This was something else entirely. This was a secular pilgrimage. Green and white gathered beside Seville Cathedral, drawn as much by faith as by geography, and by Flaherty's Irish pub in the town centre. The pub is believed to have sold 2 months' worth of beer in just 5 days. Miguel Garcia, whose bookshop overlooked the cathedral, later said, "I have not seen anything like it, not even during the 1982 World Cup." This Celtic side wasn't just good, it was historic. For many supporters, this was the finest Celtic team since the Legends, since the Lisbon Lions, since the Quality Street Gang. Power, pace, goals, and belief, real belief on the European stage. At the centre of it all stood the man who made Celtic believe again, Martin O'Neill. Demanding, driven, uncompromising. O'Neill didn't just rebuild Celtic domestically, he rebuilt their European identity. Under him, Celtic didn't travel in hope, they travelled expecting, and kick-started almost a quarter of a century of total domination domestically, and Celtic's ascendance to the most successful team in Scotland. Before a ball was kicked in Seville, the story was already written on the team sheets. Up front for Celtic, Henrik Larsson and Chris Sutton. One a predator, the other a warrior. Together, they terrorised Europe. In midfield, Stilian Petrov, Neil Lennon and Paul Lambert. Energy, experience and grit. The personification of a Martin O'Neill team, including a Champions League winner, a leader built for nights like this. Alan Thompson and Didier Agathe terrorising the wings. At the back, Rab Douglas in goal, Johan Mjällby, Jules Valguerin and Bobo Balde in defence. Strength, discipline, total commitment. But this was no ordinary opponent. Porto were cold, controlled and lethal. In midfield, the metronome, Deco. Silk on the ball, ice in the mind. At the back, the organiser, Ricardo Carvalho, reading danger before it arrived. But on the touchline, a legend in waiting, José Mourinho. Young, intense, already shaping football his own way. The match began at pace. Celtic pressed, Porto waited. Then, in the 39th minute, Delay scored for Porto, a reminder that finals punish mistakes. But Celtic didn't fold. They looked to their talisman. In the 47th minute, Henrik Larsson struck. 1-1. Seville exploded. Porto answered. In the 54th minute, again, 2-1. And once more, Henrik Larsson responded. In the 57th minute, 2 goals, 2 equalizers, 1 immortal. That night, Larsson didn't just score, he cemented himself forever in Celtic legacy. As extra time arrived, the air thickened with insects. Legs grew heavy. Then came the moment that broke hearts. In the 115th minute, 3-2 Porto. Portugal had its first UEFA Cup winners. A Porto banner said it all. Another glorious chapter in our history. The Celtic fans? They stayed. They sang. Long after the trophy was lifted. One supporter later described the feeling as like a death in the family. After that night, Celtic were awarded the FIFA Fair Play Award for their behaviour, for their dignity in defeat, for the conduct of their players and their supporters. 80,000 fans. No trouble, no shame, just pride. For Porto, this was glory. For their manager, it was the beginning of everything. Mourinho later described this match against Celtic as the hardest game he'd ever been involved in. From Seville came Champions Leagues, league titles across Europe, a managerial legacy forged in steel. And it all started here. Celtic lost the trophy, but they gained something rarer. A team remembered as one of the greatest in the club's history. A striker immortalised forever. And a support that earned the respect of world football. Years later, Seville is still spoken about. UEFA Cup Final 2003. Not because of the score, but because of the colour. Seville didn't remember who lifted the cup. It remembered the green and white.